Hello everybody, this is Robert Lowe. For those of you that are just now catching the first episode of this series, I'm building an experimental Super Cub. This tonight, or today, whatever you want to call it, it's actually more closer to night. It's fairly dark out. I'm gonna work on straightening some of these tubes and just see what we can get done here a little bit. To straighten them, I built a puller, and this is it here. I used some 1/4 by 2-inch angle iron, machined a receptacle here for a bearing. These areas here are done out of black iron pipe. I used that because it's got a radius and helps with the support of the original tubes. Also, I've got a 3-inch span here to help spread the load. All right, for those of you that might not really understand how a pusher works, right? In this case, it's more of a puller. Well, sorry. This would be more of a pusher instead of a puller, although I think I called it a puller earlier. This frame right here holds everything rigid. These two arms right here are hooked behind the tube to support it. I designed these so that they would swivel on each of them. That way it would kind of help adjust to any changes in angle of the tubes as they were straightened. This arm right here sits on the other side and pushes the bow back out of the tube. These extra holes up in here are to account, or to adjust rather, for getting this closer or further away, depending on what else might be around in that area that might hinder the operation of getting this in there. When this is all set in place, when this nut here is tightened, it pushes this way, which would push this into the tube. Here you can kind of see how it might work if this were a bent tube. These two arms here would support it. This one would push as this was tightened. As the nut was tightened, this would push and then push the center of the tube this way in between the supported sections. I've also put adjustment holes here. That way I can adjust these arms in or out given where I need to get everything set up the way I want it. That's pretty much how it works. This puller is actually kind of heavy, a lot heavier than I'd intended it to be. So I'll be supporting it with bungee straps or whatever I happen to have handy here. So let me get set up and then we'll see what we can do. All right, I've got this puller set up here on this tube here up above the, just behind the engine mount. I put a straight edge on this tube the other day. It's about a 1/2 inch out. So we're gonna see if we can get that pulled out of there. Let me get this camera repositioned here. All right, I think that'll work. Let's see if we can get this pushed out of here. I think I can hear it moving. All right. All right, let me get my straight edge. We'll see what we got now. Well, a lot of it's out of there. It's probably still a 1/4 inch. Now, mind you, this tube has still got to be cut out and repaired properly. What I want to do is just get it pushed out as straight as I can get it before I cut it. That way it helps kind of to push everything else back into place. Let's see if we can get a little more of that out of there. I'm gonna have to get something here to help support this thing. Let's see. There, that's better. see what we got. Let's see if we can get it back out of there. Kind of likes it where it is. There we go. All right. It looks like we're still maybe not hardly a 1/4 inch. That's probably about as close as we'll get that tube anyways, without cutting it, which is, again, it's a whole lot better than it was. Now I'm gonna move down here to this tube here in the door frame. This tube I measured the other day is about 15/16 of an inch on with a 2-foot straight edge. And here you can see just how bad it really is. So we'll see if we can pull that out. And I may have to work on this one and that one at the same time because they are in the same kind of area here. So let me get set up on that. Adjust this out a bit, widen my the gap on these feet. There we go. Now we got it lined up. Get out these handy dandy bungee cords again and just a little support. Okay, I may have to put that one back. There's a tab in here that I didn't realize, and it's going to be right in the way. So let me readjust this one, get it back to where I had it before. All right. Okay, let's see if we can get some of the bend out of this tube. All right. Again, also this right here is another tube that will have to be replaced or repaired properly, but I just want to be able to get it a lot closer before I start cutting. Oh yeah, it's coming out. Looks like a lot of that's out of there already. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that one right there. And if you can see it, right down here is a tube that's kinked pretty good. And I've got a little different method I'm going to try on that, pulling it out. All right, it dawned on me there just a minute ago that I haven't fixed a thing for the end of my chain yet, so I'd pulled one off the end of my puller. Now I don't know if this is going to work or not. So what I've got, took one of the supports off my puller, hooked it to this chain. I'm going to hook it over this tube. This is going to go back over to here. It's going to hook to this. Go to this hook here, which goes through this hole in this 2x6, which is bungeed to the frame. Then I've got a handle here where I can hopefully put enough leverage on it to start straightening that tube out. So I'm going to put this up here. And we'll get it and we'll see what happens. We'll all find out whether this works or not. Well, it's moving, but I don't think it's staying. No, it's not going to stay. It just sheared this. This tube here was kinked. It is sheared off of there now. And it's all right. I was going to have to cut it anyhow. So But I was hoping to get it just a little closer to where it's supposed to be. Well, it pulled that time, but anyway. Yeah, it went ahead and broke the tube there and here. Again, that's all right. That's just, it was gonna have to be cut out anyways. So, let me get this back off of here and I'll put it back on this puller up here. All right. All right, I've got it back on the tube that we started on. Do a little bit more pushing on it. See what we can get out of it. It looks like it's gotten quite a bit out, but I can't say for sure. Yes. Push that back over that way a little. All right. Take this back loose and get it off of here and see how much we've gotten out of it. All right, let's let that hang right there. Get our straight edge back out. Yeah, we've gotten some out. Let me get a tape measure. There it is. See about where we're at now. Down to about 7/16 of an inch. I'm going to call that a win. One more place I'm going to work on before I end it. Well, I'll tell you what. It's a little warm out here. It's hot, it's humid. So I think I'm gonna call it a night and we'll do this again next time. I hope y'all join me and we'll see you next time.